My wonderful, beautiful, amazing Virgos. I'm Gabriella from Gabriella's Vampire Tarot. For today, I'm going to be doing a general reading of past, present, future 9-card spread. But before I do that, I want to show this new vampire ring that my human familiar, he loves to be called that. I don't know why. But anyway, what he had purchased for me, and it's called a vampire ring because it's like a blood red stone, and it pretty much is, yeah, it was called the vampire ring for that matter, though it does not smell of anything near iron in any way. So, I mean, I'm just sure it's just only the brand name of this ring for that matter. But anyway, I'm going to be using the regular tarot deck, clarify with the vampire deck, draw a special vampire card, draw a vampire oracle, and then draw 3 yes or no answers for thee. So let's get started on your reading. Okay, the general card is the Queen of Cups reversed. Let's look at the first row, which is also your past. You start off, Empress reversed. 4 of Cups reversed. 9 of Pentacles upright. Okay. Yeah, kind of what I saw here is, you are more or less just kind of changing your fate in the past, which I think is very remarkable because the thing is, when you feel like you're out of your element regarding, your own personal card, and in your setting, it's the Empress, or at least that's one of them for that matter. If you felt like you had no confidence, self-doubt, lack of clarity, anything, directionless feeling and stuff like that, that's kind of, what I more or less felt in the past. But the thing is of course, it's a general reading, so, those terms, don't have to be applying to you at all. But I saw that you changed your fate because this is where you finally, had that motivation within you to actually head towards and achieve this beautiful 9 of Pentacles. Wow. And that's what I admire and find incredibly remarkable. I mean, technically, yeah, the general card is the Queen of Cups, which is about, feeling a bit drowned, but there's also like lack of clarity. Your senses and your intuition are kind of a bit off for that matter, but it doesn't even have to be applying to everybody for that matter. But yeah, I did see that you changed your fate and fortune for the best. I'm just never surprised, by any of you out in this world. I think you guys are incredible, impressive humans to actually find that motivation, because you would hope, that motivation comes naturally. You wake up and you're motivated to go out and will run around, or, or you're motivated to head off towards your job, or wherever it may be. And even though some humans, they have to force themselves out of bed and drag themselves out the door and stuff like that. But if you have that natural motivation within you, I think that's beyond impressive. But let's look at current times. Or you could also have Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, or more earth elements in your star chart, but you do start off in current times, so 4 of Wands reversed. Page of Cups upright. And Lovers upright. One of the cards I pulled from the vampire, I thought he was actually my soulmate, but it turned out to be quite the opposite. But for you in this aspect, it looks like, that hopefully, there's no domestic problems, because the human, advised me to advise you all out there, should you have any kind of domestic problems, hopefully you'll know your legal rights in this situation. But I don't really feel that really applies, but he always feels like it's always good to mention that to you all out in this world. But with the 4 of Wands reversed, it feels like that, you also have no confidence within yourself in current times as well. It doesn't mean it's not there, and that it might not ever come back for that minute. But the thing is ebbs and flows. One minute you feel like you're down on your luck, and then suddenly you're on top of the world where everything is just working out in your favor and stuff like that. And then here you're being hit with self-doubt, lack of clarity, and all negativity that you can be experiencing and stuff like that. But I do love the Page of Cups, which is also kind of like a healing card, but it's kind of like offering you a bit of hope. It's like an idea kind of child, a daydream, but it's a bit of an illusion for that matter, because daydreams are fun and entertaining, but as long as you put time and effort into this daydream of whatever it may be off into the future, then it will become a realistic goal for you in the future. But this is you probably remaining hopeful about your current times, where you pretty much just think, okay, my daydream is to have options and opportunities, if that does apply to you, because you do get lovers. Now you could also hope for new love or more love in that aspect, but in this setting, since it's not really a love reading, and anyway, it's pretty much guiding you towards more opportunities and options where you're going to have to make some kind of decision. But I wonder what decision this could be, because when we head off into the future, You do get the Hermit. This is all about self-reflection, introspection, and needing to think about what kind of decision you're going to be making in current times. This is the offering that's going to be coming towards you regarding one of the offerings of the decision. But yet, it's, well, you feel a bit directionless. You feel kind of like out of touch. You feel kind of like in a bit of a state of uncertainty about this kind of offering because, if something is not clear as water, even though it's not particularly your element in any way, but it's, of course, you could also have Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. And of course, humans need water, nonetheless, to be able to survive in this world. But what I see here is, it's like, I do sense that there's a bit of uncertainty about the future regarding this Knight of Cups kind of offering. Well, I'm going to have to do clarification to verify it all, but if something just doesn't seem right, I would not pursue it in any way. This is a really great time to kind of go within with any kind of like crossroads and to think and to double check to make sure that all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed and to read the fine print. I mean, you guys are really great at that. I mean, I know a lot of good Virgos out there who are excellent at reading between the lines, the fine print, But that's why we're going to head off towards clarification. The Empress reversed. You get the Three of Grails upright. Now, technically, this could have also been, a clarification moment where you pretty much came to terms with why you felt this way. It could have been maybe still some past, celebratory occasion that still took place in your past. But either way, what I love about this Three of Cups especially is this is kind of like a comfort and also kind of support kind of card. You see these two vampiresses, with their arms around the vampire, including that the vampire has his arms around the vampiresses as well. So maybe it felt like you were kind of out of touch with your own, strength, your own confidence and stuff like that. And you had, your own family and friends around you to support you. Wonderful. I mean, I hope, that does resonate with you because I feel like that anybody who's out of their element, who feels like that they have no strength or confidence within them, it's like a wounded animal for that matter, is that, your friends or your family or both of them are pretty much surrounding you and providing you with the love and support, care and nurturing and healing for that matter as well. Well, we'll have to continue with a Four of Cups reversed. You're finally taking action because you get the Daughter of Scepters, the Page of Wands. Now, what I see you doing is you're heading off towards this journey. Now, this is pretty much like a solo kind of journey, because this is your own personal reading, unless you do have your friends and family who are also Virgos and who are also going to be joining you on this journey in other ways. But what I mostly see here is, it's like maybe you're kind of in the form of healing, but this is you finally having strength again to be able to actually head back out on this journey of wherever it may take you. But this could also be you maybe just thinking, okay, sometimes you do need to have, time, for yourself to kind of self-reflect on the whole process and stuff like that. But I actually see it more like, you want to get out, you're finally changing, your fortune for something way better with the Nine of Pentacles. So that's kind of what I saw you doing in the past, is you wanted to actually, make a change. You wanted to start, seeing, this, you didn't want to be, stuck with the Empress reversed anymore, right? But this is you finally taking action. I'm just not surprised. I think you guys are remarkable humans. Nine of Pentacles, you get the Lord of Grails, the King of Cups. Now, this could also be a very self-love, self-healing, self-nurturing card. It's a very diplomatic card. But this is also providing you with a sense of clarity again. And this is actually reminding you, this is sort of like the Five of Cups combination where, it's like, okay, normally, in the other Rider-Waite deck, you see this human just looking down at these three knocked over chalices, but, that person, whoever it may be, still has two full chalices behind him or her for that matter. But this is kind of you coming to terms, okay, maybe something just did not work out in your past and stuff like that, but this is you finally realizing, well, it's like I may have lost something, or maybe there's a bit of a sacrifice for that moment, but yeah, I still have these two full chalices behind me. So sometimes it's good to kind of look within. Sometimes it's good to look outwards and just think, okay, it's like, don't always, think too much about all the negative experiences in your current situation or your life for that matter. But sometimes it's really important to start seeing, the positivity despite, the negative setbacks for that matter. Because, not only does it provide you with a sense of clarity, but a sense of hope as well. Because with the Four of Wands reversed, of having maybe no sense of strength, or maybe, you feel a bit uncertain about your current self, what you get is King of Wands, Lord of Scepters. You could also have Leo energy. But either way, what I see here is, you're kind of forcing yourself in the way to actually find strength and confidence within yourself. Now, the thing is, this very important theme that I've even mentioned in my previous, zodiacs is to fake it till you make it. Sometimes you have to force yourself to actually remind yourself of how strong and capable you are, even though deep down you just think, oh goodness, I need another hour of sleep. Why should I even get outside? It's cold, rainy, snowy, icy, what have you, all the negative weather conditions and stuff like that, where you just think, well, why should I even get out? It just looks so dour outside. Well, this is you finally thinking, you know what, we need to actually start making money and we need to receive that paycheck, so that's why. But it could also be, that you're just kind of thinking, okay, I'm reminding myself what I'm what I'm capable of doing, because I remember, maybe what this Leo woman, one of my neighbors, was once talking about. I was just so, supposedly just in the area. I wasn't even paying attention, but she was talking to, I think, her spouse, companion, whoever, because that person was struggling with something, and she said, you should anchor yourself with all of your past achievements and to remind yourself what you're capable of doing and how strong you are in other aspects. And that more or less has helped whoever that person was. I wasn't even really paying attention, but I thought, that's actually interesting to actually look at. So maybe, you could do something like that. Page of Cups, of having this very beautiful idea and daydream and idea child as you get. 5 of Pentacles. My goodness. Yeah, the thing is, if you have some kind of like daydream, the thing is it is a bit of an illusion. So hopefully you're not, the ones that only look through rose-colored glasses, that only think, oh yeah, hopefully, this idea child will commence, without putting hard work and effort into something. But I highly doubt that in other ways. But what I mostly see here is, it's like you have this idea, but you could be facing with some kind of poverty situation as well. But I'm kind of worried about why the big bad wolf showed up in your reading, because this is kind of like a real negative experience. Now, this could be you also more or less coming to terms with the whole, why you feel kind of like you have no doubt within yourself. I mean, maybe you have suffered with some kind of financial problems. Even in the past and current times, I wouldn't really know exactly, because it is just a general reading, and maybe this doesn't even have to be applying to you in any way. And you could always check out your other zodiac placements as well, if they apply better to you in your current situation. Though with the Lovers, you get Emperor, Aries energy. Okay, so what I see here is, it's like you could have Aries in your placement, but this is also having more strength and confidence of actually thinking, okay, it's like, yeah, you could also be heading down towards this offering, which could be presented by this Aries individual, whoever it may be. And maybe, it's like, this is where you are going to be presented with a potential offering. Because I think in one of your previous readings, maybe even in the previous reading before, is, are you going to accept this offering, or do you have a counter proposal or counter offering for that matter? The thing is, this is where you are going to be presented, and maybe, it's like, it could be for the, a positive experience, but I do see you actually thinking through this offering for that matter, because, the offering is definitely going to be presented to you. It might make you feel a bit uncertain and jittery on the inside, but it doesn't mean that it's actually going to be a bad offering. But I would just always double check, because this is where you're going to be, presented with the offering just on a vague scale, or this is, one of the things and stuff like that. So I would really look into any kind of offerings that you're going to be presented with in current times, of whatever it may be. I mean, it's not really per se love, unless it is a love offering or any kind of job or deals, contracts, whatever it may be, and what have you. Hermit, the Fool. Okay. This is an interesting combination, because with any kind of like offering, when any kind of decision making for that matter, because that's kind of like being at a crossroads, you are definitely taking a leap of faith, because if you decide to go left instead of right this time, you're just kind of thinking, you are kind of taking a leap of faith of wondering, okay, if I were to go left in my, path, or even right for that matter, or even straight in any way, I mean, the point is, yeah, nothing is ever guaranteed in any way. So that's why the Fool is mostly saying, okay, this is where you're going to be taking a leap of faith. But whether the end result is going to be a positive or negative effect, the leap of faith card has no kind of control or any kind of decision regarding that, the end event of that decision. Knight of Cups, 7 of Grails. Now you could be presented with even more offerings and stuff like that, or maybe, the leap of faith is going to be offering more options and opportunities in other ways. But what I mostly see here is, okay, well, maybe, this offering is going to be opening up more, possibilities for you. So it's actually, it seems incredibly promising, and it just seems like, okay, with any kind of like, yeah, decision, when you're at a crossroads, it's like, I remember the human, told me how he and his friends during college time, were going out on this mountain hike somewhere. I don't remember where it was per se, but, at a certain point they were kind of lost. They had no idea where they were heading towards. And the guy was also telling me about how he also felt like he was at a crossroads, and that he pretty much just thought, well, it's like he had no idea, about the map, and nor his friends, and they were all just kind of laughing about it. And eventually they kind of got a bit scared and worried and stuff like that. But eventually everything worked out fine, because now that's why he's still with me in current times. But the thing is, it's like with any kind of like choice and chance, if you decide to go left, maybe that'll open up more opportunities for you to actually head off towards different, directions as well. So, I mean, what I'm kind of getting here is it's like any kind of job offering for that matter, or any kind of like, decision in any way, I do see more options and opportunities heading down towards you. Now, in the future, you might feel a bit directionless and a bit anxious and uncertain about the future, but you get a beautiful strength card, Leo energy. Wow. And that's kind of like your neighboring beautiful card next to Libra. But since, Leo came in instead, the thing is, what I see here is, you're just going to remain incredibly strong, confident, bold. Because the thing is, with all of these offerings being presented to you, the thing is, you are going to be in a very strong position in the future. And that's what I was, yeah, I think, I had a feeling that, you were going to be like, my human familiar with his hike, you said it was the nightmare hike, for that reason where you felt like he was just lost and stuff like that. But he came out way stronger because they eventually made it back to their van, like maybe 2-3 hours later than expected. But even if it takes you 2-3 hours extra longer, it's pretty much going to turn you into this very strong, confident individual. Okay. Special vampire card, Queen of Pentacles. You're going to be in a very strong, confident, very stable, grounded position in the future, and that's what I like to see. So this is you, man, woman, blonde, brunette, redhead, but you're going to be in a very grounded, balanced, everything is just going to work out for you no matter what. And that's, I hope this rating will resonate for you, because the Queen of Pentacles is a hardworking parent, mostly related to any, I mean, it doesn't really have to relate to anybody for that matter, but I just see you in a very confident, strong, very grounded, realistic idea, because you also have strength in the future as well. Okay, because Oracle says hunter, aggressor, tracker, or provider. So the thing is whatever you want, wish, and desire, you should go out on the hunt for. But it's also, instead of being the prey or victim to anybody's hunter, sometimes you do have to be the hunter to another person's hunter, or any of that aspect, though I don't really see any kind of aggressive, feeling in any of this readings. But, it's like when you feel uncertain and stuff like that, when you feel like that there's any kind of, where you feel, and like, even with the Empress reverse, you feel like you're out of your element, okay? I would still always try to be the tracker and provider to head you towards wherever you need to be. And I think everything should work out no matter what, because, you get two beautiful cards. Anyway, I'm going to finish off with 3 yes or no answers. Please feel free to pause this video and think about the questions you want answered, because speaking of the second strength card, you get yes for number 1. 6 of Swords reverse is another yes. So for question number 2, you get yes. For number 3, you get no with the 5 of Wands upright. So you get 2 no's and 1 yes for this reading. Well, my beautiful, amazing Virgos, I'm going to have to leave it at this for now. But if this reading resonated, please feel free to join and subscribe to my channel. I want to thank you guys so very much for joining me. I love you guys incredibly. In a few days, I'm going back to love readings. So for now, I'm just doing general and love. But I'm also open for personal readings. All you have to do is subscribe to this channel, post in the little discussion box below that you want a personal reading from me, and I'll respond to you with my email. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining me. And for the ones who just miraculously came across my channel, feel free to just browse through it if this even benefits you in any way. But everybody's always more than welcome to enjoy my channel. But anyway, thank you so much. I love you guys incredibly, and best of luck on where this journey may take you.